1776, the Continental Congress published the Declaration of Independence, announcing their intent to separate from England. Hi, welcome to the Homeschool History Show. This is Mr. Wesley. Join me for another great moment in history. Today we're going to talk about the Continental Congress of 1776 and the Declaration of Independence, why this is such a great moment in history. First of all, though, those are some pretty big words, aren't they? A declaration is just to declare, means just to say something. So your infinitive to declare means to say. So a declaration is just something you said. And independence means freedom. Oh, freedom! Independent means not dependent. Dependent means you hang upon it. You have to hang on it like a koala. You need it, right? If you're independent, you don't hang on it anymore. So it's saying, hey, England, we are not going to hang off of you anymore. We are going to have our own country. Now, if you remember the Boston Tea Party, they were upset. They were being charged money, told what kind of tea they need to drink, and they weren't allowed to have any kind of vote or any kind of say because they had a king way over in England. But if you remember from back before that, when they landed on Plymouth Rock, they started a whole new kind of life way over here where everybody has something to say.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
This way of living kind of came to a head with that way of living. And the members of the Continental Congress, also known as the Founding Fathers of the United States, said, you know what, England? I'm sorry. Thanks, but no thanks. You've probably heard of these Founding Fathers before. There were 7. Let's take a quick look at them. George Washington, commanding general during the American Revolution, and later went on to become the first president of the United States. John Adams, the famous lawyer from Boston who signed the Declaration of Independence and became second president of the United States. Sam Adams, second cousin to John, created a distraction to help the Boston Tea Party. Unlike his cousin, he was more of a man of action than words. Benjamin Franklin was sort of the Dumbledore of the group. He was respected for his diplomacy and wisdom. He was also quite a scientist. Alexander Hamilton, he played a very important role in establishing the U.S. economy and the banking system. He also got killed in a pistol duel by Aaron Burr after he compared Burr to a bad leader from history. People were way more polite back then, as I'm sure you would be if your brother or sister could challenge you to a duel every time you called them a name. Thomas Jefferson was the primary drafter of the Constitution and the third president of the United States. That means he did most of the writing. James Madison wrote the final draft, meaning he finished the final version of the Constitution and was the 4th president of the United States. Together, all 7 make our founding fathers. Now, the King of England didn't like that very much. This was a very significant event in history because it would be kind of like if you decided to tell your parents that you didn't need them to be in the house anymore. Crazy, right? But unlike you, the colonists were like, we're adults, we can take care of ourselves, thank you very much. So this was an argument not about religion, not even so much about economy, but more about government. What government means is who's in charge of you, why are they in charge of you, and how much are they in charge of you? So for all of you out there, just think of the government like your parents. When you're a child, they basically are the government. But can your parents do whatever they want? Anything at all? Make you sleep on the roof? No food for 5 days? I certainly hope not. There are rules about things like that, you see? So there are limits on government. And basically, the Continental Congress in 1776 said, hey, you don't have enough limits on your government, Mr. King. We're adults. We deserve some freedom too. The king had a different opinion, and this will lead us right up to the Revolutionary War and the foundation of the United States of America. So what was so important about this? What were they really declaring or saying other than we just don't want to pay you money anymore? Well, at the heart of the question was, where does government come from? Let's take a quick look at what it says. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Now, you're probably a little lost. Don't worry, I am too. But let me explain it to you. What's so special about this is these last words, consent of the governed. So what does consent mean? Well, consent's just another word for permission. The Declaration of Independence says, we have rights. Our rights come from God. And the job of the government is to protect those rights. Before this point in time, people thought that what rights you had because the king decided to give them to you. The idea that you only get to govern me because I give you my permission was a very new one, and it sent shockwaves through the entire world in the form of revolutionary wars that would sweep entire continents for over 100 years. That is why the Declaration of Independence is so great. Until next time, I'm History.